Hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking videos. Thanks a lot. So today I'm going to be starting the new series of planets through first house of D10 chart in Vedic Astrology. And if you don't know what is D10 chart, I've already made all the 12 videos. You can watch what is the D10 Dashmansh chart in Vedic Astrology, and what is the importance of the Dashmansh chart from the career, business, monetary standpoint of view. Even in order to understand the pattern of your own career, major ups and downs, sudden rise and fall in your career. Even if you want to understand whether the job or business is going to be more suitable for you. So everything basically you can predict more deeply using the D10 chart in Vedic Astrology. And that is where in today's video, I'm going to be discussing planet Saturn placement in the first house of the D10 chart in Vedic Astrology and what are going to be the results that are particularly associated with this placement. Now, first of all, before actually directly jumping into the results, I recommend you to closely pay attention towards the attributions of the first house of the D10 chart. And then we are going to be blending the energy of Saturn in it. Now, the first house of the D10 chart, first of all, represents your professional identity. So, if you are a banker, that is your professional identity. You are an astrologer, that is your identity. You are a businessman, that is your identity. You are a plumber, technician. So, what is your personal identity in the career? That is actually connected from the very first house. Secondly, any sudden rise and fall in your career is also going to be seen through this house. Sudden rise means you are suddenly rising in your career. It's not necessarily only from job perspective, but also from the business standpoint of view. So any sudden rise and suddenly you are falling down is going to be seen through the first house. And the elements that are also going to be posited in the first house, the sign of like fire element, which is ruled by the Sagittarius, Leo. I know you are going to be familiar with elements. So pay close attention towards the elements, because elements have the capacity to help you to predict the sudden rise and fall in your own career. Your fundamental approach towards work is also connected with this house. Like how you are approaching your work, or maybe suppose at the time you are solving some critical issue in your profession, in your career. So what is your approach actually? Whether you are going to be more mentally inclined towards solving that activity, or you are putting some hardcore physical exertion. So your mental and physical hard work is also connected from this house. First house is also the house which represent initiations of the karma and ending of karma. It means the timings of death can also be predicted, because karma and the karma is a very big word in Vedic astrology. It's not only associated with you performing some job and business or that kind of a thing. Cooking food is also considered as a karma in Vedic astrology. So the initiation of the karma and ending of karma is seen through the first house. This is also the house which particularly governs your risk-taking appetite. Okay, whether you have the capacity to take some big risk, maybe at the time of switching the organizations, because there are going to be a lot of uncertainty involved up there. So basically your own capacity to handle the uncertainty in the professional environment is indicated from this house. Suppose you started one business and out of a sudden that business failed. So if you want to see whether once again you are going to be taking the initiative towards starting a new business or not, because in that area the risk-taking appetite is going to be required. So that is seen through the first house. This is also the house, first house, which particularly represents the pattern of your own career. Pattern mean to say whether you are going to be working in one corporate job for rest of your life, or there are going to be multiple changes happening up there. Or whether your field is going to be only one, you are sticking with the technical, or whether finance, marketing, data sciences, or there are going to be multiple fields involved up there. It's predicted from the first house. Now, when the planet Saturn, first of all, it's coming in the first house. Saturn is the Atam Kark and the soul significator of this Dashmansh chart in Vedic astrology. And if it is posited in the Lagna, it first of all means you individuals are having a pretty prolonged karma. I mean to say prolonged karma, as compared to some normal person, you need to work hard also, and you need to work double the time, or like suppose normal person is working till 50, 60, you need to work till your last breath. Because Saturn in the Lagna will going to create prolonged karma. Okay, and this karma is not only connected with one aspect, it's connected with the multiple aspects. But here specifically the D10 govern the career and profession, so we are going to be sticking with that particular thing from the predictability standpoint of view. Secondly, Saturn in the Lagna will also going to be creating a lot of slowness in your own career. I mean to say slowness, suppose there are two graduates having same credentials or having same degree, and one is going to be achieving the top at after 10 years, you might take 20 years to achieve the same thing. Because Saturn in the Lagna is a very, very powerful placement. It's not a very like easy placement to hold on actually. Because until and unless you are not going to be mentally and physical capable enough, Saturn will not going to hand over you the results easily. And that is the reason in Saturn in the first house can also lead to a lot of mental agitation and frustration. And out of that agitation and frustration, what will happen after suffering from the beginning stages of their own life, these people in the later stages, specifically around the maturity of Saturn, 35 and 36th year onward, they tend to become more experimental when it comes to taking the career actually. So their approach basically is going to be totally changing here. Because in the later stages, the Saturn is going to be becoming more agile. Okay, because Saturn have seen all the toughness in the beginning stages of the life. Many a times this is also the kind of placement where you need to start working from the very beginning stages. I have seen individuals that have started working at the age of 16, 15, 20, making money and supporting their families because of this placement. Because I told you it represents that prolonged karma. After its maturity, Saturn actually have the capacity to remove all the blockages. All the mental boundaries and restrictions are automatically getting removed. And then this actually have the capacity to give you complete upsurge in your own career environment. This is also going to be a very excellent placement if you are looking for any sort of technical roles or blue collar activity. Because Saturn is that kind of a graha which is going to be putting more extra hard work and extra effort to receive the result. And you also need to pay close attention towards two other things. First, pay attention towards your Amatya Karak in the Dashmansh Kundli. Now, what is Amatya Karak? This is the planet holding the second lowest degree in the natal chart. Amatya Karaka Graha and Saturn, because Saturn, I told you, it's the Atam Karak of the 10th, is the Dashmansh Kundli. So, basically pay attention towards the Amatya Karaka Graha. Whether your Amatya Karak Graha is forming some connection with Saturn or the first house lord or not. If that part is going to be playing out, it means you are also going to be having very strong karmic association with your own career. Here, education is also not going to be then playing a much more important role. Because Saturn is a very practically oriented graha. It means here only the practical experiences are going to matter a lot. And there is no use of much theoretical knowledge and theoretical education coming into your own life. Later down the stages, depending over the conjunction of the Saturn with some other planets, with some benefics or malefics, they have the capacity to create certain alterations also. But if the Saturn is posited all alone and if the fire element is there, Agni, earth element is there, it's going to be a more hard-working approach. On the other hand, if Saturn is, for example, going in the watery elements, okay, or in the air element, then this is going to be creating a lot of disturbance in the pattern of the person. In the beginning stages, they might be doing something else. Next, they might be doing something else. Next, they might be doing something else. And basically, what Saturn is trying to do, it's accumulating the knowledge from multiple areas of the life. In the beginning stages, you might not be able to understand why I'm gaining that much knowledge from multiple areas. Like I have pursued education in this field and I'm gaining these multiple areas. So what is this thing happening? Wait till the Saturn maturity, because afterwards what will happen actually, all your previous set of experiences, they are going to automatically combine with one another, and this actually have the capacity to create a specific pathway in front of you. This is also the placement if there are other quadrant houses of the D10 is also preoccupied. First house, fourth house, seventh house and 10th house. For example, maximum number of planets are sitting in the quadrant, then what will happen? It's a pure business placement actually. Because what will happen, if Saturn is coming in the Lagna, it's also going to be becoming very difficult for the Saturn to tolerate authority over the forehead actually. So suppose you are working into some job kind of a situation and there is some top-notch authority which is going to be present up above you. Now Saturn here is not going to be tolerating authority for the longer duration of the time. And that is where more independent approach, working more independently, is going to be far better with the Saturn placement rather than working with some team kind of a zone. From the business standpoint of view, Saturn in the beginning stages will going to create a lot of setbacks in the business. It's not easy to do business with Saturn in Lagna, because I told you the fundamental approach of Saturn is okay, gain the experience first of all. And how you can gain experience? It's by going through some set of failures actually. Success is also bringing some experiences, but the kind of experiences which you gain after failure is going to be more impactful. And Saturn here want to create the impact inside the personality of the person. And that is also the main reason why over the passage of time, their own self-identity is somewhat going to be submerged in the professional identity. Like these individuals, because of their initial setbacks or initial insecurities, in the later stages, they don't want to give up upon their own work. So basically what is happening, it's the superimposition of the Lagna. Like suppose you are a Libra ascendant in the D1, and if you are having Saturn in the Libra, so the same superimposition is going to be happening. It means your own identity and your professional identity is going to be colliding with one another. So here what is going to be happening, the person is only going to be carrying the professional identity. Here no one is going to be considering you as an personal identity, like you will out of a sudden lose the personal identity, like who I am, what is the purpose, the reason. No, Saturn don't bother and more care about who I am and what I'm doing here. If Ketu is there, yes, definitely it will going to take you more into the spiritual side of finding the reasons actually. But if Saturn is up there, it will create self-identity loss. And here only your own professional identity is going to be becoming your own identity. And in this way, Saturn is going to be highly progressing into the forward direction. So overall, I will tell you this is a strong placement of the Saturn. But here you need to try to be a bit patient also and focus over the more experimental aspect rather than sticking with one particular objective. Because understand one thing here, from the practical standpoint of view, even in the 21st century in which we are living, it becomes very difficult for any person to hold on to one career. You need to have lot of multiplicity involved in your own chart. And that is where you need to pay attention towards Saturn and Mercury actually at the time of making the decision over the career and business environment. Out of both of these grahas, which one is becoming more prominent and which graha is forming more Raj Yogas with the 10th house lord of the D1 chart. Because I will tell you, along with the Dashmansh Kundli, the D10 chart, the Amatyakar graha and the 10th house lord of the D1 chart is also going to dictate more results in this case scenario actually. Okay, because these two things are very, very important. Without checking Amatyakar and the 10th house lord of the D1, please don't read any results by just observing the Saturn in the 10th house. But I will tell you in the quadrant, this is going to be becoming your own identity. It's like that the person is taking professionally or their professional work in the more serious manner. And that is also the reason this is going to be having the prolonged karma. Up till the age of 80, 90, you are still having lot of karmas to do actually. So this is quite an impactful placement of Saturn in the first house. I hope you have gained some deep insights in this particular video with me. If you are having any queries and consultations regarding your Saturn placement, if you require any consultations over the career, business, money and wealth part, so just drop me an email. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure to subscribe my channel below, hit the like button if you really enjoyed this video. And I'm going to meet you very, very soon in the next video. Till then, bye-bye and Hare Krishna.